Hello divas and dolls, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Today I'm doing a little glue head treatment, kind of like restoration on my Disney Princess Sparkling Belle doll from the late 2000s, I believe. I got this doll at the thrift store a long time ago, I think over a year ago, and I said that I was going to film a glue treatment on her, and I just never ended up doing it because, well, I just put it off, you know what I mean, but here I am just going ahead and restoring her and just, doing her up like normal, like I would any other secondhand doll. Obviously the highlight is going to be when I actually do the little, glue removal treatment on her, but I'm just disinfecting her as normal and like washing her hair and detangling it. Her hair is just completely full of like that really disgusting glue that Mattel used to put in the heads, like in their dolls back in the day. The Monster High G1 dolls are really notorious for it. I'm not going to say any more on that because, well, I'm sure a lot of us have already had to deal with the glue problems that stem from those first generation dolls. But thanks to 1,000 Splendid Dolls, I can go ahead and fix them. I remember doing my first ever glue removal treatment on an Ariel doll from around this era too. But it was an Ariel doll that like had molded on like, a swimsuit and whatnot, and was even more like, I guess, cheap quality than like the later like Mattel Disney Princess dolls from like 2013 and 12, but it worked on her, and I've done it on several other Monster High dolls too, so this should be really fun to go ahead and experiment with again, because I, rekindled my obsession with Miss Belle from Beauty and the Beast, given that I got that 2002 Flutter Fantasy doll recently, and I was just thinking about the other bells in my collection, and I really wanted to go ahead and do this one up really, really nicely because that hair was just so tangled. It was full of like glue, and it was just really like grody. And I did pick up that doll and like play with her constantly and like put her on display, but she really is not going to shine like a proper princess unless I get rid of this glue problem. So yeah, that's just what I'm doing now, y'all. Now I will say that despite having a major glue problem, this doll has really perfect, soft, luscious saran hair, and I do really like the color blend because it's not just like a regular like dark brown. There's different streaks of like maroon and like lighter ginger in it, the very lightest amount. But yeah, I'm just about to go ahead and detangle her after washing her with dish soap because I only really wiped her vinyl down with like, chemical disinfectant wipes, and then I kind of just kept her in her dress with her ratty, nasty ass hair for a while, so it's nice that she's actually gonna get the justice that she deserves, for real. Here we are detangling this beautiful baddie, and I will say that I did struggle just a little bit, just like in general with detangling her hair. I don't know why, but some of the hair plugs like were very, very loose at the back of her head, so I did accidentally snatch out maybe 2 to 3 hair plugs, which I'm really annoyed about, but what are you gonna do really? I mean, there's a reason why they put the glue in the head to begin with, like in the first place, but I don't know why her head was just so fragile, you know what I mean, in terms of like rooting, but as y'all can see, there I am kind of scalping her just a little bit by accident, but hopefully the rest of this goes off without, any more hair plugs being snatched up, because like I said, that literally was not my intention. And as you can see, as I'm literally trying to run a brush through her head, towards the top, it's just like not trying to go through, and it's really not trying to like work, but that's just because of like all of those set and glue that's just like been in her hair for years. Looking at this footage, it's definitely no wonder why I put off restoring this doll's hair for so fucking long. It was just really ratty and disgusting, and I just like didn't want to touch it, didn't even want to look at it, and like now that I'm literally looking at the footage of me trying to run a brush through it, I can see why, you know? I'm definitely struggling to get her hair detangled, you know, for the OxiClean kind of like boil wash dunk that's about to happen, but I'm really trying my best to just make sure that no more hair plugs get snatched out of her, because that's not my intention. I did not just get this diva doll to go ahead and scalp her and make her look like Cynthia, so I'm glad I'm basically almost done detangling her, really, because like I said, I was struggling with that saran hair. Here I finally am with my generic off-brand Dollar Tree, you know, oxygen cleaner. I'm just using a big scoop over here to just scoop maybe 3 to 4 scoops of the powder into the bowl. I'm currently boiling water right now in a little pot because, you know, my kettle is just not looking camera ready. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start this little boil wash. Now, obviously, if you're doing this at home, I will definitely advise that you probably be just a little bit more careful than me. I'm kind of just like doing this really sloppy and like not really, I guess, paying attention much to like what mess I make, but I will just say like a general announcement, like please do not go and burn yourself just because you saw me going ahead and almost doing the same shit, you know what I mean? Now I'm gonna be dunking Miss Belle in the water very, very soon. Lord knows how many sessions of this it's gonna take to completely remove the glue from her head. Like I said before in the video, it usually takes me like 2 to 3 tries to like completely do it successfully on any doll with like the same problem, so as you can see here, I'm just going ahead and dunking it, swishing it around, brushing it through her hair, and making sure that it gets completely saturated and that she lays in the bowl until essentially the hot water is no longer hot no more. Here she is in the little mixture, giving avant-garde, giving dolly, giving wet, absolutely giving just as much as she can right now. But I'm going ahead and like I said, I'm swishing her head around and I'm just letting it kind of just like set in her hair and like really coat each strand and like saturate it. So hopefully this cleans itself up pretty quickly because I would hate to have to do 10 of these sessions on her. I really only want to do like 3, so yeah. Now I will say that this will obviously work best for you if you use boiling hot water. It's not really going to do anything and the powder isn't going to dissolve and like actually like, you know, make itself useful unless the water is really hot. So yeah, I'm just going to be leaving her in here until it turns cold. Here we've got Miss Diva Belle boiling, and if y'all don't know, this OxiClean method is just like, you know, really like a nice lifesaver, especially for like Monster High dolls and like just these like dolls from back in like the late 2010s that have nothing but glue in their heads. Thanks Mattel, but like really no fucking thanks, because now the rest of us have to go ahead and do this shit to go ahead and fix it. But this isn't exactly like a tutorial, it's just like me doing it really. I know that there are actually more comprehensive like in-depth tutorials like on YouTube. I would go and I would look at 1,000 Splendid Dolls tutorial on how to do this, because that's where I got this from anyways, and that channel is basically how I learned to do all of the restoration things for my dolls anyways, so I would definitely say to go check this out. I'm not entirely sure if this is all going to be done in like one session or like multiple treatments, but for me, usually I have to do 2 to 3, and I always do it with like boiling water or whatever, straight from the stove, you know what I mean, just so that the little oxygen cleaner can actually do its thing. And I always just wait until the water runs cold and then, you know, try to do another like 2 soaks and then kind of go from there, because I know most restorations, if you're lucky, will only take you like literally one night, and like they'll be done and straightforward after you've washed them, boil wash them, detangle them, you know what I mean? But this diva has gotta go through a couple sessions first, and it's no wonder why I put off making this video for such a long time. This is literally the first thrift haul video I ever posted on my channel. This diva right here was like one of the dollies from it. So I'm just really happy to finally be able to like actually work on her and like fully restore her, you know what I mean? Especially since, you know, I've recently discovered, you know, my love for Princess Belle as a Disney character anyways, and yeah. Currently just waiting for the water to boil for session 2 of her little glue removal. To be quite honest, I could still feel it in her hair, especially like along her hairline and like, you know, just like towards her scalp anyways. And I don't know how much glue that they put in this diva, but I know that this one is definitely going to take me a little bit of time to completely remove, but at least I'm bringing y'all with me on the journey. Real quickly, I really do love the way that her makeup looks. Like, I know this video ain't about that, but it's just giving. Like, she's serving face, she's serving makeup girl. This is exactly the kind of makeup you would expect a Disney princess to throw on right before she goes to a royal ball and whatnot. But yeah, session number 2 of the boil wash is about to begin. I will say that if you do attempt to do this, like, do make sure that you wash your hands after coming into contact with any of like the solution that you make, just as well as like keeping hand cream on site, because my hands literally got so dry from doing this, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's all I would advise you do. Here we can see the little oxygen cleaner like actually doing its job and working. I don't know if y'all can see right over here, but like those little oxygen bubbles are like literally doing a whole bunch of shit. It's clearly working, and this hot water is just like doing her up really nicely. But yeah, here we are with the number 2 session of this glue removal, and hopefully she only needs 1 or 2 more really, because I don't want to keep like working on this doll every time for her to end up not being completely, you know, gone of glue. So yeah, Miss Belle soaking in her 3rd and final boil wash of the night. The 3rd session of her little OxyClean treatment. I used more boiling water, and as you can see, the bubbles are kind of just like consuming her right now, and everything is kind of like being really fizzy in this little mixture. But yeah, I'm glad that this is the final treatment of the night, and I can just go ahead and try to see what to do the next day, because it is already really late and I should be getting to bed already. So I will see y'all in the next clip when I decide if she needs another treatment or not. So here's how Miss Belle looks after the 3rd boil washing session. It's kind of giving Catherine Isabelle from Ginger Snaps before her complete werewolf transformation, and I kind of dig it, but it also kind of looks like she got into Snow White's supply, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm gonna wash that out later when I come home from work, and hopefully she's only gonna need maybe 2 to 3 more boil washes. I can still feel how gluey her head is, and like her hair feels like really like at the back and like at the tippy top of her head. So she's definitely gonna need like 2 more sessions, but that's okay, because that's why I'm bringing y'all along on the journey. Here we have Miss Diva Belle going in for her 4th dunk. Hopefully it's her final dunk because I really just want her to be completely like removed of the glue and whatnot. I will say that I've gotten faster results using the actual like name brand of like OxiClean instead of just the generic kind, but this is all I could, decide to get right now at like a moment's notice, and hopefully it's gonna work just as fine this, one final time. Miss Belle is finally drying after her 4th boil wash. I can already see the hair kind of starting to like powder over and whatnot because after you go ahead and do that treatment, it does leave a little bit of like a powdery residue on them, even if you like rinse it out after. I did try my hardest to like go in with some dish soap after and like try to rinse out whatever I could to see if it would prevent it kind of from powdering over, but I don't know, I can kind of see it starting to take effect a bit, and I can kind of see her hair starting to turn a little bit white, but yeah, hopefully this is her final like treatment and I don't have to do it again, because I really just want this treatment to be nice and over with so that I can dress her up again, do her hair, and watch the movie with her and whatnot. But yeah, I'll be back in the next clip when I finally got some results for you. Got Miss Belle after her 4th like glue treatment, and honestly I haven't like been seeing much results. Her hair feels very, very greasy, especially at the top, and like I'm not even sure if you can tell now, but like her hair literally looks wet even though it isn't, and like that's literally what the glue inside the head like makes the dolls look like. Because I'm not entirely sure if she was actively leaking glue when I started the process, because to be quite honest I could just feel that it was gluey and that I needed to restore it anyways, but like I think I'm gonna do maybe 2 more to see if it's really gonna do anything at all, and if not, then I'm just gonna have to film part 2 and use actual like name brand OxiClean. But I don't know, I think her hair looks really nice despite it being like a greasy mess, but I really, really need to go ahead and like fix this glue problem like ASAP, because this Belle has turned into one of my favorite Disney dolls recently, and like I just want to make sure that she's just not like a greasy gluey mess, you know what I mean? But that's the results that I've gotten after 4 like glue boil wash treatments with like off-brand OxiClean. So hopefully 2 more will do the trick. If not, I'm just gonna have to throw in the towel for now. But I really, really do love this doll, and like I'm like determined to like get rid of this glue in her hair, really. And like I'm not even sure if you can see it, but like even when you like pull the hair apart, it like sticks together and like clumps and like whatnot, and it's just overall not the way that like a saran hair doll should be, you know what I mean? But yeah, in the next clip I'm either going to be doing another boil wash or figuring the hell out what else to do. We have our Diva Belle after 4 of those OxiClean boil washes. I will say that I don't think that her hair is like completely removed of the glue, but I can run my fingers through it now. It's not completely hard, it's not sticking together. I can run a brush through it, thankfully. I think she might just need maybe like 1 more actual like treatment, but like overall I feel like she's complete, and like I can finally put her back up on display, and I'm just really happy in general to like have this Belle doll all restored and whatnot, because Belle has become one of my favorite like Disney characters, and like one of the hyperfixations, I guess, of like the Disney princess lineup for me right now, at least. So really happy to have this doll restored and at least looking like not raggedy, you know what I mean? Definitely say that this Belle doll had like some of the worst like glue head of like literally any doll I've ever owned or like ever done this treatment on, but like I'm really happy that she's overall restored, and that she might just need maybe 1 more actual treatment and then she'll finally be like done, you know what I mean? But for now, at least her hair isn't completely soaked in glue, and it's not hard, and it's not greasy feeling, thankfully. And I spent so much time like trying to get Belle restored right over here that I was able to get the new 2026 like Enchanted Stories Belle with the actual fabric gown or whatever, so I can compare and contrast in like a different review. But like, yeah, that's my little Belle doll restoration, and I hope y'all really enjoyed that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye divas, stay safe.